So I'm back, guys. For those of you who don't know the rules to this kind of challenge, here they are. First, we fight the least number of battles possible. Double battles count as 2. I do this because there are trainers in Pokemon Emerald who you have to fight, which you can fight one-on-one or one-on-2. And the two really aren't that different, so for consistency I keep it like that. Running away from an enemy Pokemon on the first turn doesn't count as a battle. We won't be catching any Pokemon at all, not even for HM moves. No glitches, exploits, or trading with another game, and no items in battle. Held items are allowed as well as items outside of battle. No using the daycare. Now, you should check out my last video where I do this without hacking the game for a Mew. You'll notice that Swampert can't really beat the Leaf 4 without using save states, which I don't want to use. Emerald is really a terrible game to try minimum battles run on. At least beat the Leaf 4, if not Steven, which Swampert really couldn't do again. Since we can't catch Pokemon for HM moves, this Pokemon that we choose has to be able to learn the HM moves Dive, Surf, Rock Smash, Waterfall, and Strength. Those are necessary to beat the game. That's why I'm not choosing something like Mewtwo for this run. You can compare Mew's base stats with Swampert's here. Mew's is on the left and is perfectly balanced, while the only real advantage Swampert has is its attack stat. But Mew is a legendary, so this is to be expected. This isn't a solo run though. Technically you can get some Pokemon, namely a Wyna, Egg, a Fossil, and a Castform. But if you want to win, you really need to train up just one Pokemon. And the only really useful thing that we're going to get from the others is if we choose an Anorith so we can teach it Rock Smash. Mew meets the criteria for beating the game because it can learn all TMs and HMs in the game. And maybe a Pokemon like Kyogre would have also worked, but I wanted to try a Mew first since we get a lot of options with it. I mean, since it can learn all the TMs, there are a lot of strategies you could make with it. So let's see if Mew can do this. I use a Pokemon randomizer to make my starter Mew instead of Mudkip, and it's the only glitch I'm going to allow in this run. I chose to replace Mudkip because this means we can do a fair one-on-one comparison of Mew to Mudkip, and also because it makes our rival the hardest possible, as you'll see later on. At this point all we have is Pound. I probably should have reset until I got a beneficial nature. Thing is, Mew has even 100 base stats in all categories, and a nature that boosts special attack would have been very beneficial for this run. I got a hasty nature, and honestly that's still okay. Because of its great stats, we can easily beat May. Last video I made, I was sure to show every single mandatory battle, but I'm going to try to keep this video short and only show the major ones or the ones which I had problems on. In Petalburg Woods, the Aqua Grunt isn't too hard even though he has a Poochyena. On the way we get the TM for Bullet Seed. It's because of Bullet Seed that this run with minimum battles is even possible in Emerald. In Red and Blue you wouldn't get a TM like this and you couldn't beat Brock, but you can beat Roxanne in Emerald though, because of Bullet Seed. I do try Roxanne but I end up losing, which is why I go ahead and fight this hiker who you'll have to fight later on anyway, and then after I level up I go back and beat her. I would normally talk about strategy in this section, but the only real strategy you have against Roxanne is to keep using Bullet Seed until you win, and hope she misses or doesn't damage you too much. And that's basically it. Beating her puts us at 6 battles, and I'm going to put a little number there whenever we beat a gym leader to show how many battles we've done. You can say no when May asks to fight and move on to Brawly, but he's too much for us right now. Instead I go towards Slayport and nothing interesting there happens, so I go for the second mandatory battle with May. Here's the deal, if she picked Torchic we could have easily beat it later on with a Psychic move, and we'd have a type advantage against her Combuskin. If she chose Mudkip, since we have Bullet Seed we take out a Marshtomp easily. As such, Grovyle is the hardest option for us to fight, which is why I replaced Mudkip with Mew. Even so, it isn't too hard to beat her even though her Grovyle has Pursuit, and we move on. Mew definitely has had a leg up till this point. Marshtomp was stuck here for quite a while, but I mean I beat May in just one attempt. I beat Wally and Mew learns Mega Punch. And there are these other two trainers here which I beat, and I need to point something out. The thing is, you don't actually have to fight the hiker here. I thought he was mandatory in my last run, but he isn't. You can avoid him even though the path is really long and tedious. You have to go all the way back to Mr. Briny, and he'll sail you back towards, Petalburg, and then you go to Rustboro, the other end of this tunnel, use Rock Smash, get strength, and then go back the way you came, and you can't use the tunnel to go back to, Rustboro City easily, so it takes up a lot of time, but it is possible to avoid this one trainer, so we're going to avoid him. You can see footage of me trying to fight Watson here. The main problem is he has a Magneton, and we do not have a move that is good against it. The best thing we have is Rock Smash, and that is a terrible move. It doesn't even have a 100% chance to lower defense in this generation. I go back and beat Brawly just for some experience. It's much easier now, and winning puts us at 17 total battles. We just can't win with our moveset here though against Watson. Marshtomp did have a leg up on Mew in this part of the run, and did it rather easily, so it did do better than a legendary in at least one part of the run, which is kind of cool I think. I always liked Mudkip. But with so many losses, I realized that there's only one way to beat Watson. I'll have to get the TM for Psychic from the game corner. This takes 3,500 coins, and the challenge grinds to a total halt here. It's gonna take like 2 to 3 hours to do this portion of the run. You basically just save the game and reset when you lose too many coins. You usually set the limit at 100, and save after, you get a big bonus with 777s. And this takes a whole lot of time, but eventually you will get the required coins and teach Psychic to Mew. With this, the Watson battle is way more possible. It still takes me 2 tries though. Beating him puts us at 18 battles and gives us Shockwave, which we'll want to use later on. I get the TM for Dig. I thought I would need it, but the thing is, I didn't. But anyway, I tried to collect as many TMs as possible, just so in case we needed to, we could teach them to Mew. Maxie is the next big fight, and with Marshtomp it was difficult because Marshtomp relies on its attack stat, Mariana has Intimidate, and Mariana also used Sand Attack to lower our accuracy, but we have Shockwave and that really helps us take him out easily. Then in Lava Ridge Town I get the Egg Tachawina, and here's another point in the game where I made a mistake last time. You don't actually have to fight anyone in Flannery's gym. In the Mudkip run, I fought 2 trainers in a gym because I thought you would have to fight them. Flannery takes a few tries. Eventually I noticed I'm rather close to winning, so I thought I'd go get a few calciums to raise my special attack, but I got lucky and didn't have to. One thing you'll notice is that I'm not really commentating that much. That's because the only real strategy from here on out is use Psychic. So if that's all of which I'm doing, I won't really actually explain it, and beating Flannery puts us at 24 battles. it would make this run a lot easier, but you can't get it, and so I pick up the Claw Fossil instead. Anorith can learn Rock Smash and Cut, so that makes it sort of useful. I then pick up a rare candy in Granite Cave. For Norman's gym, I go with the same trainers that I did with Marshtomp, and I also use the 2 rare candies I got. Norman was extremely difficult when I was using Marshtomp, and he was so difficult that I almost gave up on the run, and I only won when I was really lucky using a very specific strategy. But with Mew, he was easy. It only actually took me 1 try. So yeah, Mew definitely has its moments. That puts us at 28 total battles now. I get Ice Beam and Thunderbolt from the Abandoned Ship and from Watson, but I end up not needing either of them. But you know, it's good to have good TMs in case you want them later. I get our final team member at the Weather Institute, Cast Form. She can't learn any HM moves, but does have a role later on. The battle with May was so forgettable I almost actually forgot to mention it in the script for a moment. I'm showing it because it's a, quote, major battle, but nothing really interesting happens. Run away from the Kecleon so it doesn't count as a fight, and then go into Winona's gym. It was a bit of a lucky fight against Winona, but I still won, and you don't really have to fight her right now, so you could make the battle less lucky by coming back when you've leveled up a bit more. But this puts us at 37 battles up till now. One major advantage Mew has over Swampert is that Mew can learn Fly. Not only is this really convenient, but later on in the game it actually becomes super important, and I'll talk more about that later when we get to that point. Once you get to Lily Cove, you can go to the Move Deleter and get rid of Rock Smash from Mew, and then make your way to Mount Pyre. Trainers are nothing special here, but you can get a rare candy, and there's also a rare candy near Mount Pyre as well. The thing is, in terms of numbers, there are a lot of trainers you can fight, but they're all weak grunts and they don't give out much EXP, so it's not really as easy as you'd think. And the run only gets hard when we reach Tate and Liza. Now let's take some time to talk about these two. These two were a brick wall that I had real trouble getting past. We do have a few other Pokemon for the double battle, but they're only really useful as meat shields to take a single hit. The strategy I used was the same as that when I used Swampert. I gave Castform a Quick Claw and gave Mew Mystic Water. This boosts the power of Mew's Surf, and if Castform's Quick Claw works, then it should get a Rain Dance off. The thing is that in Gen 3, a move like Surf, which doesn't damage your ally Pokemon, but hits both the opponent's Pokemon, has its power cut in half. If this was Gen 4 Surf where it hits everyone on the field for full damage, this actually would have been a lot easier. I kept losing though, and eventually I went back and bought all the calciums I could. I even used one of my rare candies, but I still couldn't do it. The problem is that this is one of the situations where Swampert was better than Mew, mainly because Swampert got the same type attack bonus, and also got a boost from its Torrent ability. We can see that fight from last run here just to compare how Mew stacks up. Also, this is a bit unrelated here, but I went to get the black glasses because I thought I might need them later on, and encountered a shiny Whismur. Of course I ran away from it. Minimum battles and all, you know. Looking back on the successful fight I had, I think I should have just saved my rare candy. It didn't really help that much, and unless you use all of your rare candies, this fight is still going to be luck reliant. And you don't want to use your rare candies before the Leaf 4, really. What needs to happen for you to win is you need to get Rain Dance to work, and then you need to get at least 2 critical hits on any of your Pokemon. Or you need Lunatone to use Hypnosis and miss. We're now at 60 battles total. That was the last fight in the run that was challenging, to be honest. The only required battle after we get Dive is against Archie, and after beating him we do the whole thing with Rayquaza. We won't need Dive after this, so I go back and delete it for Fly instead. This is how the Juan fight goes. Overall, not too bad, putting us at 69 battles. Nice. While he challenges us in Victory Road and we beat him rather easily, I kept expecting him to send out his Gardevoir against Mew, but he does so last for some reason. Not sure if that's a programming error or something, because I think based on the AI of Gen 3, he should have sent out his Gardevoir since it would resist Mew's Psychic. I'm not sure though. Former trainers in Victory Road, and now we've reached the Elite Four. But it's here that our run diverges from the Mudkip run in a big way. I said Mew learning Fly is really important, and here's why. I erased Psychic for it. We can relearn it from the Mew tutor, so erasing Psychic isn't a big deal. And now we do not need Mew to know Waterfall, Surf, and Strength anymore. This frees up a few move slots which we desperately need, which we couldn't do with Swampert. As such, if you remember, Swampert's moves were very limited. We could only actually teach it one other move other than an HM move. Turns out I can't delete Surf though unless another Pokemon can learn it, so I leave it. Honestly, it isn't a bad move though, so this isn't a big issue. I also use the Acrobike to get this extra rare candy you can get if you have Waterfall. Then I also delete Waterfall permanently. Now J-Rose, who started this sort of challenge, likes to go through the Elite Four without saving. You don't have to do that. The game does let you save between battles normally, so you could argue that, you know, it's fair game. But I do it in this run since Rayquaza was able to do it in the Swampert run. Of course we didn't catch Rayquaza in this run, you know, because we're trying to do it with Mew, and we're trying to do it with actual least number of battles. I have 9 rare candies and use 4 of them on Mew before I entered the Elite Four, and I also give it a Person Berry. I've retaught it Psychic, and now it also knows Ancient Power. On hindsight, I think you probably could get away with using all of your rare candies on Mew right now, or none of them actually if you save between Elite Four members. The 4 rare candies are there to make some of the fights more consistent. Sydney is honestly kind of a wild card because you can do a couple of things differently, and I don't think you'll ever have the same exact battle against him. If Mightyena hits you with Sand Attack, switch out to get rid of it. On his Shiftry, my strategy is to get it to use Swagger, Snap out Confusion with our Person Berry. With our Race Attack, we then beat the rest of his team easily. Thing is, Shiftry can also spam Double Team, and that makes life hard. So this battle, you know, is really luck based, but usually it isn't a big deal. If you use 4 rare candies, it isn't that much luck reliant. I give Mew another Person Berry for Phoebe. I also erase Ancient Power for Calm Mind. Now against the next 4 members we can set up Calm Mind with various degrees of ease. Against Phoebe, her first Dusclops likes to spam Protect at the beginning, so you can get your Calm Minds in easy. The only problem is if it uses Curse, in which case it's usually a reset, but you can also try to switch out to a Pokemon you'll sacrifice, then back to Mew, try to set up Calm Minds again. The reason being that if it uses Curse once, it can't use Curse again, so you have another chance to set up, but at that point it might be better to reset. I don't know if that would work that well. You can take one Confuse Ray if you're holding a Person Berry, and after all the Calm Minds, her team is a one-shot sweep with Psychic. For Glacia, I give Mew a Cherry Berry. You can set up against her Celio. You will waste a turn with Hail and then use Body Slam. The Cherry Berry is in case you get paralyzed by Body Slam. And you have to set up 3 Calm Minds, but you'd have to be really unlucky to get paralyzed twice from 2 Body Slams. And after those 3 Calm Minds, her entire team is a one-shot sweep. For Drake, I think honestly I should have used the rest of my rare candies here, and instead I gave Mew a Citrus Berry. Shelgon is also a Pokemon that likes to use Protect, but it also has Rock Tomb, which can lower your speed, and I got a Speed Drop 2 actually this battle. And that is bad since now everyone else in his team outspeeds me. As you can see, I still won, but Mew came very close to fainting. You really don't want those speed drops, but you can still win even if it happens. I think if I used my rare candies here, this would have been less, luck reliant. But anyway, this is where I actually use my rare candies after I beat Drake and, before Wallace. I also gave Mew another Citrus Berry. In case you guys are wondering, this isn't my first attempt at the Elite Four. I did have a number of failed attempts before I settled on this strategy as the most optimal one, but I didn't want to, show the failed attempts, because I sort of felt like the video was long enough and it didn't really add anything. The Elite Four aren't too difficult, but you can't just walk in and expect to win. You do need to think about your strategy a little. Wailord can't really hit you that hard, and as long as you can set up 3 Calm Minds, you're good. Except for Milotic. Milotic somehow still survives a Psychic, but it can't knock you out in one hit unless it gets a critical, and so long as you don't get frozen by Ice Beam, you can 2-shot the Milotic easily. And that's that. That brings us to a total of 79 battles at the end of the game. And no, I won't try to fight Steven now, we can't win, even though there's one extra rare candy we can get, but there are no other trainers we have to fight before fighting Steven. and really the only way to beat him with minimum battles is if you caught Rayquaza and used it and leveled it up against the Elite Four. So yeah, looking back, this run was a lot easier than with Mudkip, understandably, and Mew managed to beat the Elite Four not only without having to use save states, but also without saving in between, and pretty consistently at that. So all in all, Mew was pretty good, and one of the few Pokemon I think could actually complete this challenge on Emerald without having to fight even a single extra battle. We did have an extra battle when we used Mudkip, which was to catch Rayquaza. Granted, Mew is a legendary, but the real saving grace in this run is the fact that I can learn any TM and HM move. There were two unexpected hurdles in our journey though. The biggest was Watson, and we had to spend hours at the game corner to get Psychic, and that was not hard, but it did waste a lot of time. The other was against Tate and Liza, but they were way less, annoying than Watson. I mean, it did take a few attempts, and we did have to get kind of lucky, but they were still doable. And funnily enough, we actually had an easy time against both of these trainers when we started out with Mudkip. On the other hand though, Mudkip did struggle in a lot more places than Mew did. For example, against the fight with Norman, against the fight against the rival, against the fight against Maxie. So overall, Mew is definitely way superior. Also, Swampert couldn't beat the Elite Four, again without using save states, so yeah, Mew definitely goes on top, but again, it's a legendary, so that's sort of to be expected. So yeah, that's all. This was a bit of a challenge on the easy side really, but I kind of did choose it for that reason. I just wanted a little relaxing challenge for a shorter video, which I could do as a sort of extra to that older video. Like I said before, I don't think there's another Pokemon that could potentially pull this challenge off. If you guys think there is one, let me know down below and maybe I'll make a video on it. Until then, leave a comment telling me what you thought about this video, leave a like, and, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks a lot for watching.